Welcome to week 3. We have several clips to go over, some things that we saw, some inconsistencies throughout the state. Big shout out to the GFOA and Northeast for submitting clips to us for this week. We're always welcoming the clips submitted from other associations throughout the state. You know, our association that I use, y'all probably get tired of seeing us, probably get tired of seeing the same schools. So it's always nice to see other schools, other officials, and then we kind of can see what kind of goes on more throughout the state. So we're going to start with this. Let's look at this pre-snap. So if you look here, we either have, I only see 3 in the backfield. This receiver, I'm assuming, is supposed to be off, but he's on to me, and we should consider that on. This is 4th down. It's a punt. Never mind. Now you see it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 4 in the backfield, so we're legal. This guy, he's on then. Alright. And he's down the field, and there's a forward pass. Legal forward pass. So in this play, you should either have 5 in the backfield or an eligible downfield receiver. I'm going with an eligible downfield receiver because he is not, he's on the line of scrimmage. So I think that's what we got to go with here. We got to have one or the other in this play. He's on the line. Alright. Let's look at this one too. So we got 2, 3, 4. So he's supposed to be off as well. But he is not. That's not clearly on. This guy's clearly off. This guy's in no man's land. No, we shouldn't have a no man's land. You're either clearly on the line of scrimmage or you're clearly off the line of scrimmage. Alright. So once he goes down, now we have an eligible downfield. And he's the guy who catches the pass. So this, like I said, this play should either be, well, there's no either be. This is an eligible downfield. He is not off the line of scrimmage. Clearly on or clearly off. Alright, so one thing we're kind of struggling with, and I don't want to say we're struggling with it, but we're not really consistent about it, is roughing the passer. So we have a fake punt, but he's clearly a passer now. And we get a little hit there, and we flag it for roughing the passer. And I do not think that this is roughing the passer. You know, there's no steps. You know, right here, so we took 2 steps. There's no steps. There's no timing. None of that's in the rule book. It's, does the defender have a reasonable opportunity to stop or let up? That's the criteria. We're not going to count steps. We're not going to count timer. Does the defender have a reasonable opportunity to let up or stop? That one's a little too close. I think we should let it go. There's another one, Mama Mater, back in the weekly trainings. So they're scramble, then an interception, and then they get a hit. You see a flag come out there. So I'm assuming this is roughing the passer. I don't have the foul report. That's my assumption. This one's a little more, iffy, but I still think this is not roughing the passer. He's coming. You got a scrambling quarterback, a defender coming full speed. All this happens pretty quickly. So I don't think that one falls under roughing the passer either. So where we run into trouble with consistency is we have those 2 that are called, and then we have plays like this, which we're not going to call it. And I think these are correctly not called for roughing the passer. This is very similar. And this one you actually have an attempt at a wrap-up, which, I think is kind of the difference as well. The previous 2 you saw, there's really no attempt at a wrap-up. But we normally don't use that as qualification for roughing the passer. end zone view is a little clearer here. So that one, the mid correctly passed on. That's not roughly passed. And then again, you get the wrap up, which the wrap up kind of helps you out a little bit too. It's the same game, just 2 plays later. And same thing here. And this one's it's a harder hit, but we're not, judging it on it. You cannot penalize a guy for hitting hard. The one thing I could see where Coach might have some gripe here is this defender right here. But he's kind of more avoiding his own player. So again, this is correctly not called. But see, where we run into trouble is, like I said, we have those first 2 where we called it, and then we're not calling these. It creates some inconsistency. So here's the same game much later. Here we are gonna throw a flag, but not for roughing the passer. Here the flag we're throwing is spearing, and you see it a little bit better in the end zone. Remember, the difference between spearing and targeting is initiating contact with the crown of the helmet to a body part that's not the head. So here it looks like you kind of have an initial hit is with the crown. My only hesitation about throwing spearing on this is that there's a wrap up. And if you remember last week, we're saying, if you wrap up, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have target. And since we have a wrap up here, I kind of, that's why I'm having hesitation of throwing a spearing there. It's not late though. This is not a late hit at all. The foul was spearing. And the spearing, that's one we can argue and debate. Alright, so these next few plays, we're going to catch a lot of grief in the comments. I can already see it. We're talking about forward versus backward versus lateral. So when we determine forward, backward, lateral, whatever, it's the direction and the flight path of the ball. That's what we want to look at. So here we're going to have an option play. And this is mighty close. But you see the direction, the flight path of the ball is backwards. It does not matter when he caught it, where he caught it from. The direction of the flight path is backwards. So I think this is correctly called. Now, where we run into problems here is, if you remember with our new mechanics, the line judge always has backward or forward, always. But headline judge in certain situations can have an opinion. And this is one of those situations where his opinion really needs to matter. And really, he probably needs to be the main official on this call. Because the line judges are going to see this from all the way across the field. So that's the headline judge. Again, I think this is backwards. We're looking at the flight path of the ball. Alright, same thing again here. We are looking at flight path of the ball. Is it forward? Is it backwards? And remember, if it's straight across, lateral is forward. The philosophy on that is, we've always said, when in doubt, it's an incomplete pass. No cheap turnovers. Again, we hit some grief in the comment section on that last week, but it is in the GHSA manual, and we teach it in camps. Lateral is forward, because when in doubt, it's a forward pass. That's what we have here. It's flight path of the ball. It's straight across. So this is an incomplete pass, correctly called. This one's a little more cut and dry. That one's a little more clearly forward. And it's called that. This is the line judge's call, and you can't see it because he's kind of cut out of your screen. But the line judge is signaling forward on this one, and he is correct. And it's only the line judge's call. Only he signals it, you know. We don't need a mirror from the referee. We don't need a calling from the referee. Just, it's the line judge. The reason we don't want to get into mirroring is by some chance you have line judge signaling one and referee signals something else because he saw it differently or he thought he misinterpreted what the line judge said or whatever. So referee don't signal this. This just the line judge. So in this play, we're flirting with a fair catch here. In fact, I think this should be considered a fair catch if we watch this receiver. I think what I was told is he was trying to tell players to get away. And that's the question that's also come up. What about when the returner is telling players, get away from the ball, or Peter? The way I've always done it, if the arm motion or whatever is below the waist, then to me I'm considering that the receiver telling his people, hey, get away from it. If any kind of hand motion is above the waist in the air, to me that's a fair catch. Because you'll see usually when they're telling the players to get away or Peter, their hands are real low and they're kind of giving that wave away. But a lot of times it's below the waist. If it's above the waist, then it's too close to a fair catch, so I'm calling fair catch. This probably needs to be a fair catch. You can see his hand motions are above the waist. Looks like a little wave there. So this probably needs to be a fair catch. Let's look at this in the end zone view. He is a tackle. You have a defender right in that gap, and then you have a cut, and it's immediate. Go back and look at the wide. You have a quarterback in shotgun, but this block below the waist is immediate. It's to a guy head up, so that's legal. Here we're going to have a chop block. We're looking at this angle here, this side of the line. You're going to have an engagement high and then a cut low. And now I can kind of see the argument where this blockers, it looks like he's trying to hit this middle linebacker here. But there is still an engagement high. So it's still considered a high engagement. And then the guy comes low. So that's chop block. And it was correctly called. We got a flag on it from the referee. Look at a catch, no catch. I like this as a catch and fumble, even though it happens very quickly. Remember, timing is not of the essence in a catch, no catch. Does the receiver have control? And I think here he has control. He makes the juke move. And when he makes that move is when the ball comes out. So again, I like this as a catch and fumble. Remember, catch, we're just looking for control of the ball. That's all they got to do. And here, I think he has control. He brings it in. He controls it enough where he makes this move, and then it comes out. So I like that as a catch and fumble. This one's it's kind of a weird play. Clearly a catch, then we got a fumble, possibly. What actually happens here when we look at the tight angle is we're going to have simultaneous possession. So we got control, and he's still got his hand on the ball. He's still got control of the ball. The defender also has control of the ball. But now, with his butt on the ground, plays over, runner's down. So they both have control of the ball right now, then it's simultaneous possession. It's after he hits the ground. See, even then, now, they both still have possession. Then he comes up with the ball after that. This is still simultaneous possession. Because like I said, right now, the play's over. He's down, runner's down. They still both have possession of the ball. So, that is not a fault. Alright, we're going to have a call for offensive pass interference on the screen pass. Remember, if the pass is behind the line of scrimmage, then you cannot have OPI for blocking downfield. So it looks like the snap is about the 10. Pass is caught about the 7 or the 8. So you can't have OPI. So the flag comes in. And it's still okay for deeps to flag it. I mean, if you think that's what you have, then that's what you have. You can't see where the ball is caught and all that. That's where the wing official has to come in and take you off that flag. And then you just wave it off. That's perfectly fine. But if you have a screen pass like that and a deep throws flag for OPI, the wing needs to have an opinion on whether or not the pass was behind or in front of the line of scrimmage. Here's just a weird play, a little bit similar. We have, it's going to be behind the line of scrimmage, and this ball is just up in the air. Everyone has a right to the ball right there. Just goes and gets it, no interference or anything. And in a play like this, referee wing should do the best you can. We're not going to outrun these kids. There we got a flag too. That wing guy, so you got coaches, you got coach and player in the white. So good call there for the flag. Oh, I actually ran into one guy. And this is where, when we have these, reverse mechanics, especially interceptions returned all the way for a touchdown, a lot of times we're going to have players and coaches in the box celebrating. If they're in the white, you got to run around and flag them. Because that's safety, and they're in the way, prevents you from doing your job. On this, we're going to have a foul for an eligible downfield. Notice where the ball is snapped from. It's snapped from the 45. Remember, for an eligible downfield is where the ball is, where the players are when the ball is released. So we give them 3 yards. The ball is released now. Remember, we snap from the 45. We have a player at the 47, 43. So he's still good. 42 would have been his line of demarcation. So he's still within that less than 3 yards. So this should not be an eligible downfield. So we incorrectly ruled it an eligible downfield, and we took points off the board for a team incorrectly. It's not good. Alright, remember, you cannot spike the ball in shotgun. And this is going to be clearly a clear attempt to spike the ball in the shotgun. Eventually here, right here. Good job of flagging that. That is correctly called. You cannot do that. Not in shotgun. The rule specifically states it has to be direct snap, hand to hand. However, there's a workaround this rule, and this team seems to have found it. This is probably an attempt at a spike in shotgun, and it's flagged. This is not a flag. This easily could be a handoff, could be a shovel pass. I mean, is it a spike? Probably. It's probably designed. But that's legal. You have an eligible receiver, he's right there. It's kind of shoveled forward. And the defense still has a shot at taking this ball. It could hit the receiver's foot, bounce up, or hit his knee, bounce up in the air. The defense can grab the ball. So this is not intentional grounding, for spiking from the shotgun. So it's, it's kind of a loophole in the rule, but you gotta let them have that one. Alright, let's visit the Granite Bowl here for a minute. We're going to have a kickoff. Let's watch this. We're going to have an illegal blindside block. Oh, right here. And then he gets a little retaliation. We get the retaliation. That's a good call for necessary roughness. But we should have got this blindside block right there too. That's clearly a blindside block. That is not open hands. He initiates with the shoulder and then pushes. And then more retaliation there. So we got one of them. It's the first one. It happens. And that's what we tell coaches a lot. A lot of times we're going to miss that first one. We're going to get the retaliation. Alright, a little bit of field awareness here. We'll watch our side judge at the bottom of the screen on this long run. And he's taken out. So, this happens, and this is one of those things where, you can't get this guy from keeping the sideline clear. This photographer was in an area where he's allowed to be. I don't like them being that close, but, he's still not outside the restricted. He's allowed to be in that area. So we just got to be aware of that. These photographers, they can be a little problematic. And then, this photographer probably got mad at the official for hurting his camera. It happens. So just kind of be aware of where these people are. Always kind of be cognizant of your sideline. It's dangerous, but just be aware of your sideline and how clear it is. Alright, here we're going to call running into the kicker. Opposing coach wanted roughing. This is not roughing. You give him a little bit of doubt because he is blocked. So it's going to be hard to justify roughing the kicker when he's blocked into it. Running into is the easy one here because I think his momentum was going to take him into this kicker anyway. The block just kind of helped. So running into is a good call here. It does not escalate to the level of roughing. So good call there. Alright. We're going outside the state of Georgia for a minute. Alright, right now this ball should be dead. Should kill this right here. The interception was still staying. I think we do. Looks like he stops. Looks like we're stopping there. Well, let's be a little quicker to kill this because, it should be helmets off. He's got the ball. Alright, we're killing it right now. A little bit before then. Because something could happen here. It's going to be dangerous. And then we get the stupidity. So now we went from, that's a foul. That's celebration. Don't do that. That's a dead ball foul. So, like I said, they killed it. You can see the headline judge stop the clock right here. But let's just kill it sooner, and then they still get the dead ball penalty, 15 yards for being stupid. All right, last play. Here the coach wanted a late hit out of bounds. This is not late. He's still in bounds when this hit occurred. However, when I first saw this, I thought you might have a possibility for targeting on the angle here. It looks like, he definitely has his head down. It looks like he may have initiated contact above his shoulders. But when we get to the sideline view, we can see it's not as clearly. It looks like the brunt of the contact is shoulders, shoulder to shoulder. You can still tell he's in bounds, so this is not a late hit out of bounds. And we don't have the head snap back, which is a pretty good indication too. It's just shoulder to shoulder, so that's a good no call by the officials there. Good shoulder to shoulder contact, still in bounds. Line judge is right there to see it. The referee's in good position to see if it's targeting as well. Just good shoulder to shoulder contact. Alright, that's it for this week. Good luck out there. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and we are about a third of the way through the season after this week. So good luck.